I don't really know why I'm making this video, to be honest with you, other than just to maybe let some people know where I'm at right now and kind of document the past month because it's been the hardest, probably the hardest period of my entire life. About a month ago, I started to get really nauseous and had some stomach issues going on, and then I got an ear infection, and I was put on antibiotics, and because of that, it ended up triggering a bacterial infection of my large intestine called C. diff, which is a very serious infection. It can be fatal untreated, um, and on top of that, I had colitis, which is a mass swelling of my large intestines. So um, I was in a ton of pain. Um, I waited longer than I should have to go to the hospital initially, just because I thought it might just be a stomach bug or whatever. But I went to Middlesex Hospital, and I spent about 6 days there, and it was awful. I was in a lot of pain. Some of my medicines weren't being administered correctly, and my pain wasn't being managed. I couldn't sleep. My room was right across from the nurse's station, and it was just very disruptive. And um, they pumped me so full of fluids. They gave me maybe 5 or 6 of these 750 milliliter bags of fluid a day, and my stomach swelled up, my feet started to swell, um, and I think it was the night of the 6th day I had a mental breakdown and ripped my IV out of my arm, and somehow uh I left. I went against doctor's orders. Somehow drove home. I was extremely fatigued and out of it, and I just wanted to be home so bad. I just wanted to be out of that environment. I just wanted just a 1 or 2 good nights of sleep. So I get home, and I have a follow up with my primary care doctor a few days later, and they checked me out and advised that I do go back to the hospital as soon as possible, because my blood pressure was still very low, um, and I just wasn't doing well. So I went to L&M. The first night I tried to get in, I waited for 5 hours in the waiting room. I went home. I went back the next day in the morning. Waited. Eventually, did go in. I spent about 24 to 30 hours in the emergency room, waiting to be admitted upstairs. I had a room. It was okay. It was just the bed was just not comfortable. You hear all of the suffering of people around you. Um, while in the emergency room, you hear people screaming. You hear people come in, and you see people come in terrible condition off of ambulances and everything. And but the good news was that they were managing my pain. They had me on antibiotics right away. So I got moved up to the uh room, my room on floors 6 or whatever it was, and they had me on antibiotics. They did some a bunch of blood work every day. I probably got 6 7 tubes of blood taken out of my arm every day. My hemoglobin was actually low because of the amount of blood they were taking. um I was in a lot of pain every day. um I had a fever for a while, eventually till that went off. And the main thing was this edema that I was experiencing because of all of the fluids that they had pumped me up with at Middlesex. My feet were swollen. Um, there was fluid in my chest cavity from a chest x-ray they did. My stomach was so distended and painful, and I don't want to go into too much graphic detail, but a part of my genitals was also extremely swollen with water, and just so disturbing to me. That really scared the shit out of me. They ended up giving me a diuretic to get the fluid out. I was negative for C. diff. I think either the second or third day I was there, but my intestine was still extremely swollen, which was causing a lot of irritation physically, and blood in the stool, and I was just incredibly weak, and still recovering, and I'm still recovering now. So I spent about a week at L&M, and 2 days before I was discharged, I got a call that my father had been found irresponsive, delusional, and he was alive and breathing, but he was rushed to the emergency room, and he had pneumonia, and he was put into hospice. I got out of the hospital 2 days later, and I went up and visited him, and he was incredibly weak, and it was hard to understand him because of the breathing apparatus that was on him. I just wish I could have heard more of what he is saying. And seeing my father like that was so crushing. And I just told him how much I loved him and thanked him for all of the gifts that he has given me in his life. And the next day he died. And it's been about 4 or 5 days now, and physically I'm still recovering from being sick, and on top of that I'm dealing with this grief. And some days are just so hard. Like today, I think it's the reason I'm making this video, is just I have no energy. I can't even go play video game on my computer, or I just want to lay down and just the suffering is just it's making me numb. And that's why I say it's been like the worst month, the month from hell of my life. I'm trying to stay as strong as I can, and I feel pretty strong. I've been through shit, but never this concentrated, never this. And I'm trying to remain spiritually connected. I'm praying, and I'm asking God for guidance, and I don't believe that I believe that we're given challenges that we have the ability to get through, and that they make us stronger as a result of them. And I'm just trying to see past the mountain right now. I'm trying to look towards the future, and I have a really great family, and I have a lot of really good support. It's just really hard right now. And I guess that's it. I just wanted to let it all out. So thank you if you stuck through this.